Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Mark Farzetta. It's the Farzy Show, presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Just lovely to have you along for the ride. Oh, my goodness gracious. I hope you guys stayed up for that fun-filled opening game of that three-game series there in Los Angeles with the Phillies and the Angels, where the Phillies got 16 base runners. They had 6 hits. They were walked 9 times, and one guy got hit by a pitch. That was Trey Turner. And the Phillies scored 5 runs, and the Phillies lost 6-5. So Anthony Dominguez came in the 7th inning, and I don't like the term "blew it" in this particular game because the offense had their opportunities. They were 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position, and I'll say it again: 16 base runners, and they only scored 5 runs. The Angels said, please take this game. And the Phillies were like, no, it's fine. And they're like, no, seriously, please, you're our guest. Please take this game. And the no, it's fine. And they're like, no, take this game, please. And Sir Anthony Dominguez was like, fine, you take it officially. And that's what Sir Anthony Dominguez did in the 7th inning. It was not good. And I actually had some hope for Sir Anthony Dominguez in that 7th inning because, it looked like he was just snake bit there for a second. There was a little chopper off off home plate for the first runner of the inning, and then he actually recorded 2 outs, and he got 0-2 on his on the hitter, and was just about to get out of the inning, and then Sir Anthony Dominguez did. Basically, we'll break it down a little bit further coming up in a minute. We know the future of Jason Kelce. Jason Kelce is going to work for Monday Night Football. Studio analyst. Not in the booth. Studio analyst. I am curious if this is going to be your normal old garden variety studio analyst role where they just kind of throw him on a dais with like 17 people. And then they just kind of talk about the Monday Night Football game and what happened on Sunday leading up to the Monday Night Football game and all that. I'm wondering how they're going to use his personality. I would love to hear him in the booth. I think if anybody could be that kind of next John Madden type of broadcaster, I think it's Jason Kelce. The one good thing about that, at least not right now, him being in the booth for a game as the color analyst, so to speak, is that I wouldn't have to hear him say nice things about the Cowboys. That's one positive about going to the studio. He'll break down the Cowboys, but like not in the capacity of they just scored a touchdown and he's got, oh wow, what a play by the Cowboys. No. He doesn't have to do that. So that's at least one good thing. But I do want to see how they're going to use his personality other than just having him be one of the many people they have on that Monday Night Football dais. So that's an interesting thing. I'm curious to see how that's going to play out for him. He's going to be great. He's going to be great at anything he does. It's very simple to break that down, but interesting that's the gig. Of all the gigs, that's the gig. All right. His brother also got a 2-year contract extension with the Kansas City Chiefs, so we can talk about that. The Cowboys made an acquisition. We'll talk about that in the NFL. Howie Roseman's draft picks. We'll break those down a little bit more today. And then the 76ers have a little basketball game to play today. And I'm going to ask this question. I'm going to throw it to the chat, and I want, please chime in, for those listening. For those on the podcast, and everybody, hit me up on Twitter. I want to know. Does anyone have confidence that the Sixers are going to win tonight? Does anybody think that the 76ers are going to win tonight? I have no confidence in the Sixers winning tonight. 0. I am a very blessed man in that I get to watch sports, and that's me working. Okay. But I am very much not. I am more looking forward to watching the Phillies at 9:38, 9:38, 9:48, 9:48, 9:38. Damn it. I'm going to look. I think it's 9:48, actually. I am actually much more looking forward to the Sixers, or excuse me, to the Phillies than I am the Sixers tonight. Sixers play at 7 o'clock. I'll watch the game, and then I'm not playing anything. I'll do the postcast on Locked On Sports Philadelphia, and then I'll go and watch the Phillies game, and then I'll go talk about that. I'm looking forward I am much more looking forward to the exhaustion of the 9:48 start time tonight and doing a postcast after that than I am having to watch the Sixers. I have such a terrible feeling. 9:38, damn it. I have such a terrible feeling about this game tonight. It goes back to the Sixers and Celtics game 7 last year at a different garden, TD Bank Garden, where Joel Embiid and company just completely laid an egg. And Joel Embiid especially laid an egg against that Boston Celtics team. When you needed him, you needed James Harden at the time, you needed Tyrese Maxey, you needed these guys to step up and actually give you good minutes. And it was the type of game that was over before it started. Holy pots and pans, it was over before it started. And now this year I'm supposed to say with Joel Embiid on one good leg, one good knee to be more specific. I don't say this lightly and to make fun of it, but with Bell's palsy and him looking progressively weaker as the game went on, to put it kindly, in game 4 there, I'm expecting him to lead this team to a win. I said yesterday, Tyrese Maxey's got to drop 50 tonight for the Sixers. And look, stranger things have happened. I just don't see it happening here tonight in this game 5. I mean, if you go back to that Celtics game, for instance, game 7, Sixers got blown out 112-88. And do you remember who your leading scorer was for that game? Your leading scorer for game 7 of last year, the elimination game against the Celtics, was Tobias Harris with 19 points. That's what we're looking at. That's the type of game I see tonight. Tobias comes alive, plays well. Everybody else duds. That's what I see happening tonight. And I'm not looking forward to that. And I know not a lot of Philadelphia 76ers fans are much more optimistic than I am. Hey, look, here's my overall take on Joel Embiid, and I know that this has become, and it's always been, it's the playoffs and it's Joel Embiid, so of course it's a lightning rod issue. It's a hot topic and all that. There's 2 things that have come out, 3 things actually. One has to do with Joel Embiid's play, and that's the most important thing. You can't disappear in the fourth quarter. I still can't get over someone actually tweeting me to defend him in the case of, oh, well, all you got to do is guard Embiid and Maxey. Oh, is that all? That seems easy, the way you put it. Just guard them and nobody else is going to step up. Well, I agree to an extent, but then maybe those guys shouldn't be so guardable. Maybe they should step up and hit some big shots down the stretch, especially if you're not getting a bunch of threes from Nico Batum, or Campaign is only giving you 5 points in the fourth quarter. Maybe somebody else should step up. I'd love for that to happen, but it's not happening. People still ripping Tobias Harris, and I'm like, why? You don't understand you don't get what you're supposed to expect from Tobias Harris at this point. How much we've done the homework, folks. We know what we should get from Tobias Harris. It's not much. So I'm not waiting for him to carry the team. And by me saying that he's going to lead the team in scoring tonight, like he did in game 7 against the Celtics last year, that's not a compliment. That's everybody else sucks. Somebody's got to score. That's the way I see that played out. So Joel Embiid has to be the guy. So looking at the fourth quarter, there's no way, there's no stratosphere where Joel Embiid, who had already dropped in a game, there's no way, shape, or form. In the previous game, dropped 50 points, had an extra day of rest, and then was gone by the fourth quarter. No way that should be the case. That's one way to break down the thing. The other thing is the comments after the game about how the Sixers, Philadelphia is supposed to be, it's considered a sports town. Well, it is. And everything he said other than that, I was fine with. There's 2 ways to defend it. And we talked about this. This is what one thing we got into yesterday was, well, what do you want him to say? Well, I let you hear from Nick Nurse. I let you hear from Tyrese Maxey, who basically said, yeah, that ain't it. It's not about the fans. It's about us, and we got to play better and all that. Love our fans, whatever. That's honesty. That's how you can answer that question, and that's true. Joel Embiid was honest, and then he overshared. And I'm fine, and this is the other defense. Oh, well, what do you want? You want him to be honest, right? Yeah, I always want honesty. Sure. But you could give me an honest answer, and I could hate your honest answer. I don't hate the fact that you're being honest. I hate what you're being honest about. You could have stopped short very easily of it's disappointing. It pisses me off to hear. Everybody would agree with that. It's disappointing for fans to go to a game. It's disappointing for Sixers fans to go to a game and hear the Knicks fans. Everybody be on the same page. Where Joel Embiid lost me and lost a lot of people was, I'm sorry, wait, huh? Philadelphia is supposed to be a sports town? Oh, we're a sports town. That's not the game 4, against the New York Knicks in South Philly does not define whether or not Philadelphia is a sports city. What defines Philadelphia as a sports city is that we have been through some major suffering, and we're still here. There's no bandwagon fans like, all right, well, I'm just going to go root for the Cowboys now. Like, that's not happening. Maybe that happened, when the Cowboys were actually doing that thing where they won. Do you remember that when they did the little winning? That was an adorable time for them. We've been through the 10,000 losses of the Phillies before they won the World Series, right? We're still here for that. We're a pretty remarkable sports city, as a matter of fact. That's where it really just hit me wrong. Everything else I was fine with. No issue with it. Everyone would agree with everything else that Joel Embiid said. The minute he kind of patted us on our heads and was being a little patronizing, that's where I thought, okay, we don't need this right now. And it does bother a lot of people, myself included, when you don't step up in that fourth quarter. And the thing that can always be said, and this is why I'll always go back to Malcolm Jenkins. If you remember, Malcolm Jenkins, after the Eagles won the Super Bowl, they unfurled the banner on Thursday night to kick off the season with the Eagles taking on the Falcons. The night they unfurled the Super Bowl champion banner at Lincoln Financial Field, the Eagles were booed off the field at halftime for a horrendous first half performance against those Falcons. Then they came out in the second half. They ran a little, not Philly special, but it was Philly. Philly special is where Nick Foles has to go up to the line of scrimmage and yell at Lane Johnson. That's officially the Philly special. This was Philly, a little bit different. And Nick Foles catches the pass, the crowd goes nuts, and the Eagles go on to win. After the game, Malcolm Jenkins, this is what I admire him for. He was asked about being booed off the field at halftime, and he said, "Hell yeah, I'd boo me too. We didn't give them anything to cheer about." If one athlete in a far more popular sport such as football can have that opinion, and where you got 75,000 fans as opposed to 20, if one football player can have that attitude, how come everyone can't have that attitude? I would really love Joel Embiid to have that attitude. We want them to cheer. We want our fans to be louder than their fans. Then you shut them up. I saw Shaq talking about this on TNT. If you want the fans to be quiet, you shut them up as the player. I think you couldn't have a better mindset than that. And I'm not calling out the fans, but let me call out the fans. I hate that. Absolutely hate that. And I think we're all kind of sick of it. Because it seems like every single year there's something. And it's not just about the injuries anymore. I mean, that's the number one thing. Don't get me wrong. That's the headline. But then it's always something else that goes along with it. Whether it's Joel Embiid and Doc Rivers throwing Ben Simmons under the bus, rightfully so. Whether the Sixers are going to bring back, or what was it? Gastroenteritis in the quadruple doink game, or series rather, against the Toronto Raptors. It's always so disappearing with James Harden in Game 7 against the Celtics. There's always something extra added, always some extra added drama. Whether or not Harden was going to be back, extra added drama other than just getting bounced out. And what are we going to look like next year? That kind of thing. And now to hear this from Joel Embiid, talk about disappointing. It's far more disappointing to see that he had 1 point, and that point didn't come until the final minute of the fourth quarter. It's more disappointing to see him pass up on a wide open baseline jumper to lazily, lackadaisically drive to the rim and get blocked as opposed to throwing that down. That's far more disappointing. And it's far more disappointing to be down 3-1 in a series. That's disappointing. And yes, on a different note, In a different world, it's also disappointing to hear Knicks fans take over a stadium, and to the point where not only were they heard throughout the broadcast, but I got to watch a lot of post-game reaction of them inside the Wells Fargo Center chanting "F Embiid" and "Let's go Knicks" and all that stuff. Like, I don't. That's horrible. That's a no-lie gut feeling of like a throw up. Like, just absolutely want to vomit when I see it. I literally get nausea when I watch that. I get nauseous, excuse me. And I go, this is really in Philly? Really? Don't like that. So even to step out of my feels for a second, just from a basketball standpoint, I don't see the Sixers going into MSG and rising to the occasion. Don't see it happening. And that's unfortunate because I'd really love to see the Sixers win a basketball game. And I don't think we're going to see that. And here's what also sucks. You fall short of losing in the second round. And I've been joking about this. I joked about it through the first two games. You can't get bounced out of the second round if you don't make the second round, right? So the Sixers win the play-in game magically because Nico Batum goes off. And then they play what will be 5 games if it does end tonight against the Knicks. That would mean that if you go by, and I know I wasn't alone in this, if you go by the regular season, not really being a big deal, and Embiid, before he was injured in January, was the MVP, no question about it, but it's like he'd won an MVP already. He could play at that high a level during the regular season. That's not the question. The question is whether or not he can bring that into the playoffs on a consistent basis. Not a consistent basis of 50 points a game, but 35? Can we get that? Can we get what he was doing during the regular season? I'd like to see that. Can we get Tyrese Maxey going off? I mean, game 2, to me, is a great example of those guys came to play. Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid came to play. They got edged out at the end of that game, and nobody else stepped up to help. That was a perfect example. Game 3 is a little bit of what's possible, where Joel Embiid can just absolutely go off for 50 points and really carry this team to a win. That's certainly possible. But what did you get in that game besides Joel Embiid going off? Well, you got Tyrese Maxey having a nice little game for himself. Not great, but nice. And you actually had bench points. What? Yes, bench points. You had 18 bench points. 11 of them coming from Cameron Payne. So if you're going to have your big guns disappear, like look at a game like last night. Jamal Murray, for instance, was not having a great series against the LA Lakers. And in the fourth quarter, he just rose to the occasion. Like the fourth quarter isn't about role players. The fourth quarter, it's not about campaign. It's not about Nico Batum. It's not even about Tobias Harris, right? It's not about Kelly Oubre. The fourth quarter is about your stars. That's where stars are supposed to take over the game. That's where stars are supposed to control the game. And in the fourth quarter of game 4, the opposite happened. They did not take over. Maxey had 5 points. Payne had 5 points like that. What? In the fourth quarter? You're not going to win that game. Would love to say that the Sixers are going to bounce back and going to be great. I think it ends tonight, and I don't think it's pretty. Let's not forget that during the regular season, the Sixers lost to the Knicks in one game by 40 points. And that was a Joel Embiid game. Joel Embiid played in that game. And then I think a week and a half later, he got hurt. So, in a word, gross. So do you have the Sixers winning tonight? I hate to start off the show so positive, but now I get more negative because the Phillies really pissed me off last night. The Phillies last night, if you didn't stay up for the game, the 9:38 start time, the Phillies lost 6-5 to that Angels team. And in the first inning, Alec Boehm, NL Player of the Week. Congratulations, Alec Boehm, on that honor. He absolutely deserves it. Alec Boehm goes up there with 2 runners on, and he drives him in with an RBI single, 2-run single. Schwarber led off with a single. Turner got hit by a pitch. Harper walked as well. So, sorry, bases loaded. 2-run single there by Alec Boehm. That all of a sudden made it 2-0. Then Brandon Marsh stepped to the plate, and he hit a sac fly RBI to left field. And the Phillies are up 3-0, just like that. Christopher Sanchez was pitching. Christopher Sanchez, over his last 2 starts, has not been sharp. He gives up a home run to Joe Adell in the bottom of the first inning. So it's a 3-1 ball game. Phillies go on to walk again in the top of the first inning. Bryson Stott leads off with a fly out to center field. Rojas works a walk. Stubbs is at the plate. Johan Rojas. At this point in the game, it was just the second walk and third free pass. 1 hit by a pitch, second walk, okay? Johan Rojas gets up there, works the walk. He's on first base. Canning, who's pitching for the Angels, attempts to pick him off and almost does. And then, immediately after that pickoff attempt, tries to pick off Johan Rojas again, and this time he is successful, and Johan Rojas is left looking silly at first base. Can't have mistakes like that. You're getting a free base runner, and then you just got picked off. Not cool. Kyle Schwarber, who was it? Garrett Stubbs. Garrett Stubbs, in that inning, unfortunately, would end up walking again, and then Schwarber would make the last out of the inning with grounding out to second base. So you got 2 base runners on, and you got nothing out of it, and that's just the second inning. They're just getting warmed up. You go into the third inning, and at this point, Canning is just all over the place. He's got like 45 pitches or something like that in the third inning. He's all over the place. The Phillies, instead of continually having him press and maybe get to the bullpen a little earlier, they jump on first pitches on 2 occasions. First, Trey Turner makes an out after 3 pitches. All right, whatever. Then Bryce Harper swings to the first pitch, out. Alec Boehm, it's tough to criticize, and I'm not burying Alec Boehm for this, but swings to the first pitch, flies out to right field. 5 pitches for a guy that is really, really struggling. This guy wants to give you a game, and you choose to bail him out in that third inning. At this point, it's 3-2, by the way. Adrianza goes out there and gets an RBI single off Christopher Sanchez in the second inning, so it's 3-2. Going to the 5th inning, this is where the Phillies lost the game, as far as I'm concerned. They had an opportunity to really have a huge inning, and they eke out 1 run from it. And when I say eke out 1 run from it, I mean they were absolutely gifted this run. Stubbs leads off with a ground out to first, hit the ball in the screws, but right at first base. And then Kyle Schwarber works a walk. Trey Turner gets a single. Schwarber goes to third, so it's first and third with 1 out. Then Canning, the man that is all over the place pitching for the Angels, balks in Kyle Schwarber from third base. Now, how did he do that? Well, he had more than 2 disengagements from the rubber. So that results in a balk. Runners advance. Turner to second. Schwarber crosses the plate. Phillies now have a 4-2 lead. All right. 1 out. Meat of the order up. Bryce Harper strikes out, swinging over a changeup. Alec Boehm, hottest hitter in baseball, once again, NL Player of the Week. He steps up there. Alec Boehm does. What does he do in this case? Unfortunately, he falls into a horrible 0-2 slump. What a horrible time for an 0-2 slump. And he ends up flying out to second base. Oh, shallow center field, actually. Renifro just had to go out there and field that baseball. To all the young players, if you're playing second base, you let that center fielder come in here and handle his business. Especially that center fielder's Mike Trout. What the hell? Anyway, that's the Angels get out of that threat, only allowing 1 run. That's where I really feel like they blew it. Then in the 6th inning, this is where pitching really hurt you. Christopher Sanchez, again, did not have his best stuff. They make the change. They go to the bullpen. Orion Kirkring comes in after back-to-back leadoff singles by Ward and Drury. Orion Kirkring comes in, and Renifro ends up laying down 3 sacrifice bunts. The third one is successful. It advances the runners. He's out at first base. You got runners on second and third with 1 out. hopefully Kerkering can get out of it. But then Logan O'Hoppe, former Phillies prospect as of last year, 2 years ago, before he was traded for Brandon Marsh, he grounds out but gets the RBI. The run crosses the plate. And then not a kill shot, but Tucker gets the RBI single to tie things up at 4-all. Adrianza is at the plate when Tucker tries to steal second. He gets caught. Out of the end of the 6th inning, the Phillies are tied 4-4. Garrett Stubbs then gets a leadoff single in the 7th inning, and the Phillies can't bring him home. Schwarber, Turner, Harper gets an intentional walk. Bohm gets walked. You have a bases loaded 2-out situation for Brandon Marsh. Again, a former Angels player and prospect grounds out to first, and that's the end of that inning. That's the end of that threat. Bases loaded. Womp, womp. Leadoff runner on. Womp, womp. Nothing happens. Bottom of the 7th inning is when Sir Anthony Dominguez came in the game. Sir Anthony Dominguez in that 7th inning. See if I still have it up here. I don't. Sir Anthony Dominguez ends up taking the loss in this game. And in that 7th inning, he used 23 pitches. Only 14 of them were for strikes. Keep that in mind. He allows 3 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned, only strikes out 1. His ERA balloons up to 9.50. I mean, I shouldn't even say balloons up, but 9.58. Okay. The unfortunate thing here for Sir Anthony Dominguez in that 7th inning is he faces Adrianza, right? Gets an infield single on a pitch that he chopped off the front of the plate. So a little luck on the side of the Angels. Hey, it happens. Then Nito steps up there and he lines a base hit in the left field. So now you got 2 runners on. Trout goes up there and he grounds out to he grounds into the fielder's choice, the 1-4 fielder's choice. Adele, he gets to strike out. So now you got 2 innings, no runs across the plate. All right, maybe Sir Anthony Dominguez is going to get out of this. Maybe Sir Anthony Dominguez is going to be just fine and dandy. You know what happens? He gets Ward on an 0-2 count. And then the way it worked was Garrett Stubbs basically stood up as the catcher because he wanted a high fastball. You know what really sucks when your catcher is lining up for a high fastball? When your pitcher throws low and away. And that's exactly what happened with a runner on 2nd and 3rd and 2 outs and an 0-2 pitch coming. And all he's got to do is throw a high fastball. He throws it in the dirt. He spikes it. Throws a wild pitch is what I'm telling you. Goes all the way to the deep, cavernous backstop out there in Los Angeles where the Angels play, right? And Garrett Stubbs, 1 run scores. Garrett Stubbs fields the baseball, tosses to Sir Anthony Dominguez, who's covering home, and somehow Garrett Stubbs airmails the toss over Sir Anthony Dominguez had another run scores. So now it was a 4-4 ball game, becomes a 6-4 ball game in favor of the Angels, and the Phillies were never able to recover from that. Let's hear from Rob Thompson on Sir Anthony Dominguez 7th inning. And what the hell happened?
I think he wanted it up higher than that. And when he set up his glove, he just was too far away from it to go get it. And Sir just kind of yanked it. But I thought he was getting out of that.
Yeah, he did.
Was he 0-2, 1-2?
0-2.
0-2. Just struck out Adele. Yeah, it's too bad. Infield single started the whole thing. And, yeah.
You think he's dealing with a little bit of a confidence thing right now, Dominguez?
Well, he shouldn't be. I mean, he threw the ball really well in San Diego. So, you know, he's got to make pitches, but I think he's fine mentally.
What? Did you? Doesn't have a confidence issue? Doesn't have a confidence issue. Doesn't have a confidence issue. Okay. You know what? This idea just sprung to my mind. So let me see if I can play this out for you guys. Okay. Let me see if I can just do this real quick. I think I can. I think I have the capabilities, the knowledge to do this. But let me just see if I got this right. The guy who has cost you some games here, the guy that had a mop-up role in San Diego eventually, the guy who just blew the game in the 7th inning with awful. You can say, yeah, you go, oh, you got dinked and dunked a little bit there. Yeah, okay. All right, whatever you got to tell yourself. It's still 3 hits. It's still 2 earned runs. It's still a 2-run deficit. Tie ball game with him in it. 2-run deficit with him coming out of it. Okay. You mean to tell me that guy didn't have a confidence issue? I can't enlarge it, unfortunately, but look at this real quick. See the bottom of that screen there? You see? For the people on the podcast, I'm showing the thumbnail for YouTube here. Look at the face of Sir Anthony Dominguez there at the bottom. Okay? Look at that face. Does that look like a confident face? That's not a confident face. Doesn't have command, doesn't have confidence issues. Need I say it again? A 9.58 ERA? Four runs charged to him in the Reds game there, right? Then he goes and he pitches 1 inning in San Diego. Yeah, I'm sure that'll do it. You pitch 1 inning in a mop-up roll, that'll exercise the demons. You're right back on track. Rob Thompson was talking about it like Sir Anthony Dominguez had like some kind of 10-inning scoreless streak going. I don't know why it's confident. I don't think his confidence shouldn't be bad. I mean, he threw the ball well in San Diego. But you're 1 inning. You trusted him for 1 inning. In a game you won 9-3. What? Hey, Orion Kerkering wasn't great by any means. Okay. But Orion Kerkering, I much rather see in the more pressure-packed situations. He was in a pressure-packed situation earlier in the game. Gave up some runs. They were charged not to him, but he gave up the runs. Sir Anthony Dominguez, to me, just looks like a guy that is just – he looks like he needs a fresh start. He looks like he needs a reset button. Somebody told me last night, I think it was who was it? It was Crazy in the chat, in the post-game chat. He put it out there saying that Sir Anthony's been in the majors now 5 years. He can't just get sent down. He's got to accept it. I think it's time the Phillies. I think it's past time the Phillies have had this conversation with Sir Anthony. Like, look, dude, just get a couple weeks. Jose Alvarado. Hey, Jose, talk to Sir Anthony. Okay, talk to Sir Anthony over here. Hey, Sir Anthony, tell him you went to the minors. Tell Sir Anthony how great it was in the minors. Now it was like a fresh start when you came back. Go ahead, tell him it was like a fresh start. See, it was like a fresh start. Let's go to the minors. Spend 2 weeks down to minors. Work on your pitches. Get that confidence up. Strike out a couple of guys who will never get to the majors. Take advantage of those guys. Crush their dreams and their spirits. And build your own. And then come back to us and be the Sir Anthony Dominguez that we saw 5 years ago. Be that guy. He's got to accept it. Looking ahead, Spencer Turnbull makes his last start for the foreseeable future today. 9:38 start time. He'll go against Kyle Anderson, I believe it is today. Yeah, that's who they got. Good times. Left-handed pitcher, by the way. Tyler Anderson, not Kyle. Tyler Anderson, left-handed pitcher. Canning was actually coming into this game pitching pretty well. Anderson's coming into this game pitching pretty well also. 1.78 ERA on the season, 2-3 on the year. Good pitcher, veteran lefty, 34 years old, I believe. I really hope they can just rock him. Bohm, want to see him mash. And one more thing I'll say about the game last night. Nick Castellanos, I think it was 0 for 4 in total. Nick Castellanos is really interesting to me because I just have a feeling he's about to break out of it. And he hit a home run in San Diego. Great. He had 2 walks to get ahead, or 3 walks it was, to get ahead of Bryson Stott for his 2 separate 2-run home runs. And then last night, he barreled one up and actually, you're not going to believe this, went with a pitch to opposite field and almost hit it out of the park. Joe Adele crashed into the wall, making the catch, going back on a line drive to right field. That stadium they have is really weird. 2 things I always think about with that stadium. One is that the short porch and left, and then right field, I'll use the term again, cavernous. And then the other thing I think of is the 0-2 World Series and the home run Barry Bonds hit, and Troy Gloss being in the dug out of the Angels, and you could read his lips perfectly. That's the furthest ball I've ever seen hit. I mean, I know the term deep into the night is Matt Stairs and the pinch hit home run he had against the Dodgers, right, in the NLDS in 2008. But the home run that Barry Bonds hit 6 years earlier, geez, deep into the night. That's a home run the kids need to go and look up on YouTube a little bit later, because that was an incredible home run. But those are the things I think of. I'm like, oh yeah, this stadium. The corners are weird. And also, lastly, are they trying to make Los Angeles look like Colorado with that setting they have beyond the wall? Anyway, but yeah, then the Barry Bonds home run is the other thing I think of. Pretty insane. Phillies get back at it tonight, 9:38 against the Los Angeles Angels. Bring back the California Angels. That's all I have to say. Hey, let me tell you about MyBookie and MyBookie.ag. Take advantage of all MyBookie has to offer at MyBookie.ag. Want to bet on the world of baseball? Go right ahead. Sixers in the playoffs. Do you want to go ahead and do it tonight? You have more confidence in me? Hey, bet on an over there for Joel Embiid. Go for it. But you can do it all at MyBookie, MyBookie.ag. Download the app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get up to $1,000 redeemable cash bonus at MyBookie, MyBookie.ag. How about this, ladies and gentlemen, the Game Time app? You want to go to a game? You want to take over the Garden? Madison Square Garden? Where celebrities are there in profusion. Big Daddy Graham and I used to always quote Howard Cosell and his intro to Frank Sinatra's main event at Madison Square Garden. Carol Channing is here. Hello, Dolly. Robert Redford. All right. Sorry, Family Guy brain. Anyway, you want to go there? Yeah, Game Time app. Download the Game Time app to your phone. Use promo code Farzy and get $20 off your first purchase of the Game Time app. Download the app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, get $20 off your first purchase. So if you want to go to the game, you just download the app. You want to go to the event, download the app, Game Time app. Want to go to the comedy show, download the app. They have last-minute ticket deals, flash ticket deals, even ticket deals for an hour after the event starts for mega huge Kajunga savings on the Game Time app. Download the app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and you get $20 off your first ticket purchase. And how about this? The Game Time guarantee. If you find tickets in the same section or row for less money, Game Time will credit your account 110% of the difference. What? Yes! They're insane. So download the Game Time app. How about the amazing people at PHL Sports Nation? Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. How about Sky Motorcars? Check out Sky Motorcars' amazing inventory. What Brett has there at SkyMotorcars.com will wow you. SkyMotorcars.com. Before I get to the chat check, I want to say, yesterday I was on with Dan Cilio. He was kind enough to have me on as a guest, and we're kicking around a couple of things here with the Eagles. And two things that I wanted to revisit with you, fine people, right now. One is Jalen Hurts and how this has been set up for a no-excuse season for Jalen Hurts. And I know some people already, and look, even if I really like a player, I try to not delve into, like, I know some people that just can never criticize Joel Embiid, and I'm dumbfounded because there's, as great as he is, there's still plenty to criticize. But I try to make sure that I don't look at any one player as if they're bigger than the team. And some people might already have Jalen Hurts, and they might already have, you know, the pan on the stove, and they're already cooking up a nice excuse of, well, it's just his first year with Kellen Moore. You know what I mean? And that would really drive me nuts, because when you talk about the offensive weapons, if there's anything that you should be able to overcome, a new offensive coordinator, new offensive play caller, your third in 3 years, if there's anything that should help you overcome that, it's one, you have talent, and I think Jalen Hurts has talent. The other, A.J. Brown locked up. Devontae Smith locked up. Jordan Mailata locked up. Landon Dickerson locked up. Lane Johnson still very much locked up. These guys are locked up. Okay. Dallas Goedert locked up. Saquon Barkley locked up. You have guys that are locked up, and they're very talented players. So there's no excuses. That's one thing that came up in the conversation yesterday, and I'm going to hold true to that. As much as I love Jalen Hurts, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If he is another Carson Wentz where he gives us one great year and then it's all decline, then he's fine. He's Carson Wentz 2.0. I don't see that happening. But this is a year of no excuses. Very simple. Oh, it's his first year with Kellen Moore. Okay. All right. You could put it back on the stove. You could go ahead and burn that and then throw it away. The other thing that came up was my favorite draft pick. I can't remember a recent time I've been asked about my favorite draft pick. But when I did look over the list, I've seen a lot of people absolutely love Aeneas Smith, the wide receiver / running back out of Texas A&M. He's the guy that I told you about yesterday that has Phil Collins in the air tonight as his hype video music. Okay, actually, it's not Phil Collins, but it's in the air tonight. All right, no offense to Phil, but this was the guy that Nick Sirianni loved before he knew that Howie Roseman loved him. So both these guys really love him. But I know a lot of people have said that name. They've talked about his versatility. They talk about, the 5'10" frame and all that stuff. The guy that I am very interested in seeing of these draft picks. I mean, you could talk, okay, obviously Cooper DeJean. We'll see when he gets his opportunity. Obviously, talk about Quinyon Mitchell. But to not be the obvious and talk about a first pick, when you talk about a guy like Will Shipley out of Clemson, their fourth round pick. And by the way, I told you Howie wasn't going to go a long time without taking a pick. And he made a pick in the first, second, third, and fourth round, and then the fifth round picks. So he didn't have the long layoff. But Will Shipley is a guy that when he was at Clemson had 48 catches one year, had a dip in receptions last year. But when you watch him at Clemson, he was the type of guy that was an extremely versatile back. He could line up in the slot. He could catch the ball out of the backfield. He could run between the tackles. And granted, and especially in college at Clemson, you're going to have a decent offensive line. Some of those holes that he ran through were, the classic John Madden line of that hole was so big you could drive a truck through it. That was not a John Madden impression, for the record. That was just alternating the voice, so you knew who I was. No, it wasn't me. But Will Shipley is the guy that I am looking forward to seeing on the practice field and seeing what he does. He's one of the guys that I'll be really watching in the preseason. So I look forward to that. If I had to say there was one guy that I'm in particular, okay. Let's see what this guy's got. Let's see if this guy could be something special. Fourth round pick. See what this guy's got. And you could say the same thing about Aeneas Smith, as a fifth round pick. You could say the same type of thing. But Will Shipley just has my. And one of the other things about it is hearing Howie Roseman talk about how he wants to kick people's ass in the classroom, which is why he had the 4.0. That type of mindset. All right, let's see what you got on the football field at the NFL level, son. And you know what? While I'm on the subject, he did ask me about Jeremiah Trotter Jr. being drafted. And my take on it was, yeah, you could definitely say it was an emotional pick. The Eagles still need depth at linebacker. And the Eagles are going to be running a defense this year where, if you talk to John McMullen about it, it is all about communication. Vic Fangio and this defense is all about communication. So it might help you to have a guy whose father was a player and a very good player and understands how important communication is. Now, I'll say that, but I'll also say, yes, let's acknowledge the fact that Vic Fangio's defense and Jim Johnson's defense are vastly different. Okay, so let's just get that out of the way. But just in terms of communicating at the pro level, it's going to help them to have a guy that probably already thinks like a veteran and will know when the over-communication to what seemed like over-communication to some might seem like just the right amount of communication for a guy like Jeremiah Trotter Jr. That I think we'll just have literally an inherent idea of what it's going to take to pull off Vic Fangio's scheme and the communication it's going to take in order to pull off that scheme. So to go with even a player that is the son of a player, a Ring of Honor player, as a matter of fact, I think it could be a very good idea. Also, what's a good idea, a more tangible thing, is the guy can tackle. I have zero doubt in my mind that Jeremiah Trotter Jr. can tackle. All right. You could say it's inflated numbers at Clemson and all that stuff, and he's not tackling pro players. Yeah, sure. I get that as well. But if you looked at the end of last year, one of the biggest reasons the Eagles really had a demise was because defensively there was nobody tackling. I at least know if Jeremiah Trout Jr. is on the field and he's got a shot at somebody, he can make that tackle. So those are a couple final thoughts on the draft. Now, let's get into the chat check and see how you guys are doing. One of the first questions I asked on the show today was, will the Sixers win tonight? So I'll see if I get any answers in the early goings of this. IBH, what's going on? Daniel, what's popping? Sean Kilrain. Sir Anthony Dominguez is a mess. I'd send him to Lehigh Valley to get his mind right. Get his get his swagger back, just like Alvarado did. Sean, I'm with you. Nikki 3-Button needs to take a seat on the bench. A well-needed rest. I'm going to play him for this series. I'm going to give him these last 2 games. See if he really does break out of it. And then after that, I'll be like, well, you take it easy. You take it easy for a little bit. We're home. Bask in your home. I'm going to give him these next 2 games, Sean, but I'm close. I'm right there with. I'm a step behind you, but I'm right behind you. But I wouldn't. Look, bottom line is, I think he's very close to it. So if he has a crappy day today, 3 strikeouts, something like that, and doesn't barrel up any baseballs, then yeah, I absolutely agree. Don't even bother wasting the time with the Sixers. Biggest joke of the city, says Hutch. Jason A., what's going on? Hutch, why does Rob Thompson like keeping this team back when continuing to put Dominguez out there? Both of them need to go. Thompson will hurt this team again in October. Yeah, you know what's funny? Rob Thompson hasn't won any of us back yet. Still has a lot to prove after last year's handling of the bullpen. Hey, look, the offense has to be a clutch as well. It's not all on Rob Thompson, but still has a lot to prove with everybody. April. Morning, April. What's going on? Adam. What's happening? Sir Anthony needs a break for sure, says April. Adam, Joel is a regular season player. He can't stay healthy or step up in the playoffs like other superstars. Look, I don't know where you guys are at, but I said it yesterday. I'm still at this point. I'm not pushing Joel Embiid out the window. Out the door. I'm not pushing him out the door. But if people are calling, I'm interested. Oh, yeah, what are you going to give me? Oh, the Rudy Gobert package? Okay. Bye-bye, Joel Embiid. I got to get somebody that can play now, though. I need someone that can play with Tyrese Maxey. Because when Joel Embiid is gone, not to say it's going to definitely happen at the end of this year, but whenever it does happen, somebody's got to be there for Tyrese Maxey. You're going to need help with Tyrese Maxey. And what a different world we'll live in with the Tyrese Maxey-led 76ers team. And I'll bring it up again. I mentioned it yesterday, but to go back to it, I'm very happy that I wish it didn't happen. But if you're looking for a silver lining, we got 2 months of Tyrese Maxey leading this team. Sixers weren't great. Sixers fell from, the 4th seed at the time. And they fell down to the 7th seed and then had to play for the right to the 7th seed in the play-in tournament. So it's not like Tyrese Maxey would kept the team dominant by any means, but he kept them afloat. Good to get that experience under your belt before it is your team. James Alexander, good morning. I have confidence that we could get another win if the role players step up. There you go, James. I like your confidence. Yeah, you know what? Campaign, why don't you go ahead and knock down 5 threes? Nico, boom, boom, Batum. Let's get the boom, boom back in Batum. Hutch, what's going on? It's time to move on from Joel Embiid and reset around Maxey. Ooh, Sean Kilrain. I like this. I want to see KJ Martin play some minutes tonight. Wouldn't hurt. Ricky Council the fourth, KJ Martin. Get them all some playing time in the postseason. You got to find that spark. It does bother me that he waited so long to play Campaign. Campaign's got playoff experience. I've referenced many times his help with the Suns, or how he helped the Suns. I'd like to see him help the Sixers. And I'm surprised that it took so long to come up with that. Buddy Christ could use it tonight. What's going on? I believe that the Sixers win if they get momentum. J-Rock or Drock. I don't know. Yeah. Momentum's funny in one game. They had a lot of momentum in game 4. And then wah, wah. That's my analysis of their momentum in game 4. Wah, wah. Adam's exploits. According to Joel, it's never his fault. Yeah, kind of a theme. Jonathan Harvey, what's going on? GM, or good morning. Jeez. Sixers will limit. Can you tell I was up late doing a postcast? Yeah. Sixers will be eliminated. Embiid has low energy. Trading him should be a consideration. Tobias, too. Well, Tobias is just gone. Sixers ownership is disappointing. The chant F Embiid should be applauded. Absolutely not. Okay. You had me up until that last line, Harvey. Had me up until that last line. Sorry, Jonathan. I can't get behind anybody saying bleep our own player in our own gym. Bad enough we have Cowgirl and 40. What? And 40 Weiner fans to deal with. Yeah, there we go. Now we can have the New York Knicks as well. Yep. Buddy Christ, what's going on? Saintly spiritual manifestation. Your 10-9-8-76ers will win tonight. Put some pressure on those bum-ass Knickerbockers and those fans. Philadelphia deserves a win. Jesus loves Philadelphia. Buddy Christ, have a blessed day. Have a blessed Wednesday. Wait, what day is today? Today's Tuesday. You know how I knew? Lil Toots had a soccer practice yesterday. 4 years old. We were playing, the old football, right? Scored 2 goals. She scored 2 goals, and here's a little sneak preview into my future. I think she's going to want to play sports, which is great. Obviously, that'd be great. But in terms of me being a parent of a child athlete, keep in mind I refereed youth sports for 10 years. I dealt with parents. She was dribbling the soccer ball yesterday, which was great, And some other parent, some other dad, yelled at her. He yelled to his daughter. He didn't yell at his daughter, but he yelled to his daughter, "Take it from her." And her was my daughter. And it was the first time as a sporting event for my kid where I was like the little hamster on the wheel in my head started spinning like of rage. I didn't react. I just stood there and I just let the thought pass through my brain. But then I realized that's where that comes from. That's how that happens. That's how you hear about these stories of parents losing their minds at youth sporting events. Nothing happened. I didn't even make a face. I was having a conversation with another parent. But I heard it. Other parent. Take it away from my kid. Now, here's how the story ends. My daughter then scored on his daughter. Yeah, that's my girl. And then we got to work on a celebration. The celebration is just her going like, yay, real quick. It's real, yay. It's very understated. It's a very modest celebration. But yeah, it was. Why the hell did I bring that up? Oh, because I know it was. That's how I knew today was Tuesday. Jason, hey, it's Tuesday, brother. Plan on having a blessed Wednesday. But there you go. File that blessing for the day for Wednesday. Today is gonna suck. Your Tuesday is gonna suck. The Wednesday. Maybe, Buddy Christ, maybe that's what you were saying. Maybe you were implying that today is going to suck. So, hey, just chalk this day up already as a loss. Wednesday's the day. Wednesday's the blessed day. Imagine actual Jesus back in Jerusalem doing that. Hey, guys. Today, look, even I'm going to have a bad day today, okay? But tomorrow, that's where we really go after. That's where we're going to get a lot. That's where we're going to catch a lot of fish. That blind guy over there, he's going to see. It's going to be a great Wednesday. Today, though, Tuesday, not blessed. Wednesday, the nets will be full. I'll walk out on the water to you. That Jesus would say water. And you go out there and you get the fish. But Tuesday, don't even talk to me about Tuesday. Tuesday going to be devil's work. That question has been answered. The answer is no. Okay, fair enough. Healed lost his minutes. Oubre has been better the last 2 games. You're very disappointing in the first 2 games, much better the last 2 games. Adams exploits. Joe Matty, I actually think Embiid gets thrown out of the game tonight. He has no self-control. Joe Matty, hold on. I'm going to write that down. That's the best prediction. Embiid tossed. Sean Kilmer, love that Buddy Kress is thinking ahead. Kane, Phillies bullpen is a mess. They need to address it ASAP. Sir Anthony is terrible. Kane. Bohm's going to be an all-star. Hells yeah, man. As for the Phillies, Sanchez should be put in the bullpen. Rob Thompson should be put in the minor league. Something about Rob bugs me. Go Phils. Sanchez in the bullpen. Spencer Turnbull stays in the rotation. Interesting. Jonathan Harvey, I love that. Merrifield splitting time with Casty. That'd be interesting. Fuji, what's going on, Fuji? Good morning, Market Peeps. Happy Tuesday. I believe Sir Tony, maybe damaged goods. Sir Tony. That's great. April. You make a fine point. Classic case of the yips. I assume this is in reference to the high fastball being called by Garrett Stubbs and then Sir Anthony just spiking it. Yeah. Yips definitely crossed my mind as well. It's a good point. Casty is the Phillies Tobias. Okay, no more baseball talk. Come on. Trevor Keegan, yes. The guard out of Michigan. Looking forward to it as well. Joe Matty. All right, let's go with a little comparison. All right, a little Austin Eckler. All right. And Will Shipley, let's go for it. Johnny Wilson. What are my notes on Johnny Wilson? In the 6th round, yeah. That, whether or not he's a wide receiver or a tight end, everywhere I look, people are like, well, he's 6'7", so he might be a tight end. What the hell was his name? Evgeny Moma? Was that the dude's name that was like 6'7", 6'8", and a wide receiver for the Eagles, and he never panned out? Obviously, talk about tall wide receivers. Talk about Harold Carmichael, one of my favorite before my time players ever. But yeah, I'd say he's gonna be a tight end, eventually a tight end. He can run every route in the tree, according to Howie and Nick. But we'll see what he does out of Florida State. Be awesome. Trotter first tackle. He does the axe celebration. That would be pretty awesome. Jeremiah Trotter Jr., I expect, will be the Birds' near future starter at inside linebacker. His father has him prepared for success. I hope so. Mike Friedel, what's going on? I think the Sixers will win but lose Game 6 at home at MSG South. No, thank you. Sean Kilrain saying the same thing. Psychologist. All right. Is it Embiid's fault he can't stay healthy? How is Utah doing? You will regret it if you trade him. No, I won't. If the Sixers get back a haul and a player, including a player to play now, I'm not going to regret it. I like Embiid. I like Embiid a lot. Is it his fault he can't stay healthy? Well, not necessarily. I mean, I think there's other things he could have done over time to maybe help his game shapeness. But here's the bottom line. This is part of him. Is it his fault that he can't stay healthy? Well, no, but here's what I know. He can't stay healthy. For whoever's fault it is, this is what Embiid is. That's why people are like, well, he's playing on one leg. I'm like, I get that. He's playing on one leg, but this isn't like, oh my God, Joel Embiid has had these great playoff runs where he's been in the Eastern Conference Finals 3 times, and he's had, 10, 50-point game or whatever. Just throw that number out. This is, he gastroenteritis, so, he's got a broken face. So, he's got a concussion. So, he's got his wrist injury. He's got a hand injury. He's got a meniscus injury. It's always something. So regardless of whose fault it is, let's take that fault word out of it. Embiid can't stay healthy. For anything close to an 82-game season and a long playoff run, that's asking a lot of him. One of my hopes and dreams was that, 2 months off for Joel Embiid, where hopefully he stays in shape and he comes back with some time to play himself into game shape. Great. Then he tweaked his knee and he got Bell's palsy. What the hell? Fault? No. Actuality? Yes. Speaking of the Suns, damn, yeah, how about those Suns? April, you're better than me. I will cuss out someone if they're talking about my kid. It's like you'd be what is it? I have the thoughts. As I said, the wheel starts turning, right? By the way, Frank the Animal Bialois is where that line comes from. And that was told to me through Al Morgani many years ago, that the animal got in I don't know if it was a full-on fight in a charity game, but it was a little pushing and shoving where a guy put his hand on Frank the Animal Bialois's chest because Bialois got close to his goalie. So the guy put his hand on and said, "Hey, that's my goalie." In a charity game. And Frank was like, and then maybe a play or two later, the guy was a little too physical in a charity game against a guy named the Animal, and the Animal took exception to it. So I'm at the there's a little practice, little soccer shots type thing, right? And Malalut's little toots, she has the ball, and the other girl's following her, right? And I hear the other dad yell, "Take it from her!" And I'm like, "Over my dead body," And then Emmanuel just kept on going and just scored, just like that, Luke Skylifter, Farzy isn't a miracle worker. He can only bless us one day a week. April, I will go out on the water. Yeah, damn right. That's what Jesus would say. Walks out on the water. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Wait, what? Upcoming Don Sterling biopic? Wow, that's a pull, Sean Gillespie. Starring Al Bundy. Ed O'Neill, you mean? Lawrence Fishburne and Duck Rivers. Okay. Jonathan Harvey, a loaf of bread, 2 fish, feeding 5,000. Buddy Christ has fantasy mind. Remember that time that Buddy Christ had 2 citywide specials and 2 cheesesteaks, and he fed 5,000? Yeah, I remember that. My brother-in-law did not know about the citywide special. That reminds me. No show as of right now. No show Friday. Definitely no show Monday. I'm going away for a long weekend to not Nashville, Knoxville, Tennessee. My nephew, more specifically, my wife's nephew, Tyler, is a freshman at Tennessee. I'm going down with his father, my brother-in-law, Jason, my other brother-in-law, Travis, their significant others, and my wife. And we're going away to Knoxville, Tennessee to attempt to relive our youth. So if you don't ever hear from me again after Thursday, you'll know that I am probably lying next to an empty bottle of Jack Daniels in the streets of Knoxville, Tennessee. So anyway, we're going down there. And I'm going to take the Christ reference off so when my mom watches this, she doesn't get mad at me. So that's a good time to reference that. So I'll be Friday, no show most likely. And then Monday, definitely no show. So that's a good time to tell you that. Why did I? Because my brother-in-law, I had to tell him about the citywide special. That's why I came to my. I am such an idiot. Sean Kilrain, Lee Conferenson dropped football's Johnny Wilson. Womp womp. That's not cool. Jason A, what's happening? Laughing at Luke. We're all having fun here. We're all having fun. Flyers will win a cup. Oh boy, Eric Wisniewski. Flyers will win a cup before Embiid gets the Sixers out of the second round. I think technically you're going to be right, unfortunately. I saw that Patrick Mahomes using his Super Bowl ring in WWE wrestling. Logan Paul, yeah, what's with that, man? How about the what is it? The Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight's going to be an official fight that counts on their career records? As a fight fan, as a boxing fan, and I grew up with a grandfather that was very much into boxing, right? And we talk boxing, back in the day and all that stuff, and well, not too modern, but I hate what boxing has become. Boxing has become a sideshow, and I really want Mike Tyson to just knock the crap out of Paul, just like first round, old school 80s Tyson style, just knock him out. For anyone that is like me, that really loves the sport of boxing and hates what it's become, it would just make me feel a lot better if just like, yeah, you think you're good? Like, I'm not a Floyd Mayweather fan at all, but take it on you, Conor McGregor. Almost called him Ewan. Take it on Conor McGregor. It's a sideshow. I wish he knocked him out in the first round. Boxing is such an art form, man. I got such respect for it. To see what it's become is very unfortunate. Yeah, Sean Gillespie, you and I are the same way. 58 years old. Hope he's near his prime. Yeah. April, I will actually be in PA on Friday. Oh, figures no show. Sorry, April. Anyway, appreciate everybody in the chat. You guys are wonderful as per usual. Let's get to the morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. Before I tell you that, let me tell you this. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the Jacob Media YouTube channel, as well as Farzi Show YouTube channel. And oh, baby, I got one more for you. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. I tweet out the link every show I do, so you guys can find it easily there and like and subscribe to that as well. I'll be on after the 7 o'clock Sixers tip-off tonight against the Knicks, after the Sixers get eliminated. And then I'll be on again after the 9:38 start time of the Philadelphia Phillies and Los Angeles Angels. So you guys can catch me there as well. Thanks for watching. How dare I? Last thing on the morning rush. The Dallas Cowboys have brought back Ezekiel Elliott. So let me recap. The Eagles have signed Saquon Barkley. They have brought back C.D. Deuce, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. They have had, according to Pro Football Focus, the highest draft grade you could have with an A+. The Cowboys have Tyler Guyton, and Ezekiel Elliott. Cowboys are going to cowboy, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Subscribe to it all. Hit like and all that. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzi Show presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Catch you guys tonight on Locked On Sports Philadelphia for 2 postcasts. See you then.